Why do we believe that the media is the Antichrist? Very simply. Because when it takes a person off the path of righteousness, right, and takes them and gives them a life of twisted morality, when they eventually die, they're in sin. Whereas it would be better, think about this, it would be better to live a life dragged to a concentration camp and murdered. Because then you would have the mercy of God upon you, because that was not your doing. But when you choose to do these perverse things slowly without realizing it, then all of a sudden you end up in a place, and when you die, you're dead. Think about the evil of that. And the media has penetrated everywhere. Everywhere. It's on your phone right now. Try and hide. I get emergency messages on my phone. I don't know if you guys get that up here. They're from, that there's a storm warning or whatever. And you know what? When it happens to me, I know I'm supposed to be, oh, thank you so much for letting me know about a storm warning. It has a total, complete opposite effect with me. They're intruding in my life, and they're beginning to manipulate. They're finding out, they know where you are. I have my phone, and they're sending down. I was speaking to a priest, and he was talking about God's not dead, and I'm going to tell you a quick story. And he said to us, right now there are children in Africa, villages in Africa. You want to see power? Villages in Africa that have the internet but don't have food and water. The devil has penetrated every single square inch of the world. And he can send his filth into every square inch of the world. And we sit by and let it happen. It's time to push back. When we did God's Not Dead, that movie was made for $1,035,000. It made over $100 million with no advertising. Now, I am not saying that money, that because it made a lot of money, that it was good. That is not the case. I'll tell you why it is good. However, I will tell you that making money is not bad. But half the nation either wants to take your money from you, whether legally or illegally, and the other half doesn't care and doesn't want to work and is taking your money in another way because they're taxing us to death. There was a situation at Chuck's dad passed away a month ago, sadly, and he had to go to Maine. And so he swiped his card in one of the airports, and basically somebody stole his card. And so he called me up and said, I think something's going on. I called up Visa because we're on a business account together. And what happened? You want to see the power of the media. I called them up. They patched me through an Indian guy in India, which kind of pissed me off. Because here you have 100 million Americans not working, and Visa, who's making billions of dollars, is for $5 an hour less or whatever going to India. But okay, I don't want to have to go to confession, so I'll be nice. And I, talked to the guy, and I'm really trying, and he was wonderful. I have to admit, first time, most of the times it's not that way. I could understand him. He helped me, and at the end of the call, he says, Mr. Solomon, can I say something to you? And I'm like, okay, he's going to want me to recommend him to the boss, so he gets what good. And I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, this is an awkward situation, because I really don't want to promote this, right? But at the same time, he was really good. And so I'm expecting that, and he says to me, can I just say to you that I saw your movie, God's Not Dead? And it moved me profoundly. And this is the other side of the world. And I said, where are you? And he says, I'm in India, and he names a village, a small village. And I'm like, really? Do you believe in God? He says, yes, I'm a devout Roman Catholic. 3% of India is Roman Catholic. You don't think the media has an effect? You don't think that guy has that on his cell phone? We reach a person in a village in India? Are you kidding? The media is the great Antichrist, but it also can be the Christ again. I do not mean that in a blasphemous way. Only Christ is Christ, but Christ's work can work through the media. The tendrils that have extended for evil can be used for good. Christ has told us. I know this is going to sound crazy, but through various prophecy and prayer, he has spoken to us, and he says, what I wish you to do is to gather the remnant of my people. I am sending them to you. They are coming to Hollywood. They will come out of nowhere, and they will be all sorts of people, writers, directors, producers, money people, internet people, people to do websites. It doesn't matter. I'm bringing them all. And those who love me, we're going to form an army, and we're going to take the media back. And the way they have corrupted the world, we will do the same thing in reverse to them. And I will bring back those who can be brought back the faithful. And those who are not, I believe this is the last trumpet call. For those who are lost and refuse, there's nothing that can be said. They will have to deal with that when they come before him. So what we have done for the first 25 years of our life is we were in secular film for the first 17 of that. 9 years ago, the Lord called us out through a series of messages. I am not kidding. A locutionist, a Catholic woman who we did not know out of Minnesota, her daughter approached us and said, my mother has messages from Jesus for you. Now, I was, to say the least, skeptical. I am from Jersey. Jesus doesn't talk to people from Jersey. Okay? And I'm like, yeah, okay. But I was nice, 21, very devout. But there was something about her. She had something. You know what that something is when you can't put, every 21-year-old girl I knew was not like this. Okay? She had the Spirit. And when she spoke with purpose. And for some reason, it resonated in us. And she said, can I take you to coffee? And I want to explain. So she took us to coffee. We got the messages. And the Lord's first message was, I want you to go pray for 9 days, deeply. And then I will return to you with another message. In other words, I'm paraphrasing. Chuck used to have hair, but when he heard this message, because a 9-day retreat usually means you're going for the priesthood if you're a single male. I'm married. So Chuck is like, oh, here we go. Okay, so so one of the things that happened was the Lord said to us finally, if you so choose, I wish you to serve me. I wish you to carry a cross for me. I wish you to do all in your power. In other words, I will come to you. I wish you to die for me. I wish you to bleed for. I want you to do this. I want you to go into Christian film. I want you to change these things. We're going to gather this host. And we said yes after prayer. I mean, seriously?
Well, it didn't hurt that there was another locutionist 2,000 miles away who had never met that person who was giving us the same message. So we kind of had to say, okay, Lord, stop shouting. Guys, if the Lord is going to talk to guys from Jersey, he knows you cannot be subtle. Subtlety is lost on us.
And this old woman that he's talking about, she was about 95 years old. I had to go in for an operation. And the way I met this woman, I told some of the people last night, is that my wife said, you got to go see this lady, Ingrid. And I went to the church because I wanted to keep my wife happy, and to be honest. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so she comes, a very nice woman, and she says to me, oh, I only pray in front of the Eucharist. I'm like, well, that's a good sign that for me. I was a new Catholic because I converted in 97 with a name like Solomon. Okay, that's my name. So it tells you where I came from, right? And so the Lord gave me that blessing that she would go. I went before this woman, and she came. And 20 seconds into our prayer, she says, oh, isn't it wonderful? Jesus has just healed you. I'm like, would you excuse me for a second? I got on my knees and I praised God, and I said, Lord, if you have healed me, praise be to God. I'm going to be good. I'm going to go on a diet. You start giving the list, right? But if you have not healed me, please protect me from this crazy old woman. I was healed. Never had another problem. Never had to go to the doctor, never had to go to the operation, never had another pain, nothing, totally healed. Then this woman, like Chuck just said, verified these other messages. So we knew that we were going to go do what we were doing. We were told immediately, there's no money in Christian film, you won't be happy, you're going to be a slave, blah, 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 blah. And I can tell you right now, we're happier than we've ever been, because serving and working for the Lord, being an army, being a soldier in the army of Christ is more important to us than, working with, let's say, Bruce Willis or making a big fancy movie. We've made more money in Christian film than ever in our career, and we were successful, okay? We've done more things, and I've seen more people send us text messages, emails. What was that one with the tornado people in Mississippi?
Oh, yeah, there was the tornadoes in Mississippi last year. There was a house that was completely leveled. And the only thing that was left is there were like 3 or 4 concrete steps. And then there was the frame of the door. The door was gone and the house behind it was gone, but just the frame of the door. And they found the door somewhere in the yard, and they laid it across and they spray painted across it, God's not dead.
And it made us cry when they sent us this picture, because here there's this door frame, just the frame, and the door is laying this way, standing up, so you can see God's not dead, and all these people are around it. And these people have lost everything. They've lost everything, and their children. And they're standing there, and they're showing the world, God's not dead. He just slammed our house with a tornado, and it's okay, because we know he's going to take care of us. We know. I mean, how powerful is that? How could you not believe after you see something like that? What would make a man or a woman so moved that after they get ripped to pieces by a tornado, that they could say, God's not dead? There's no logical way you can justify that other than the fact that God is real. And he reached into these people and said, it's going to be okay. And we've gotten hundreds of messages. A woman on a bus, she was dying. Her family left her. Her friends left her. She was all alone. I saw this sad letter. It was unbelievable. And she said she got on a bus. And when she got on the bus, she was talking to the bus driver. And he said, you look very sad today. And she told him. And he reached down and he gave her a copy of the movie. He says, go watch this. She went home, wrote the letter, and said, I now, even though I'm alone in the material world, I am no longer alone. I know that Jesus loves me. I can face death if it's what's going to happen. I'm totally content. I want to serve the Lord for the rest of my life. How does that happen? Now, she may be healed. She may not be healed. We've all heard of people getting healed. I just told you a story about healing. For some of us, that comes. For some of us, don't. But the point is that the media, that's one movie that is shown. We got tens of thousands of letters and messages and emails and texts. Okay? One movie. And people constantly said to us, one of the common themes was, you gave me the bullets to fight back. You gave me the bullets to fight back. A lot of Christians want to fight back. They just don't know how because they've been schooled badly. Let's not even go there. Okay? We know what the problems are. But the problem is that we have to teach them. We have to show them. So the call to action for you, Catholics at work, your call to action is this. We can't do this alone. You have to do something. Well, a lot of you may say, well, I've got grandkids, I go to Lake Placid. You got to get over that. I'm sad to say this. Like it or not, we are in a war. And this war, if we lose, will be worse than any other war.
And we're not going to get the support of the industry. After God's Not Dead came out, Variety compared us unfavorably to Nazi propagandists.
Really? I mean, really? The God of mercy and love who says, love your enemy, okay, forgive, okay, give charity, take off your coat in a storm and give it to someone else. The God of mercy, these people believe that by promoting him, we're Nazis.
And ironically, and this is one of I use this a lot in describing Hollywood, the most powerful Nazi propagandist of all time, Leni Riefenstahl, was a female director. She directed the most successful documentary of all time. She directed Triumph of the Will, which helped cement Adolf Hitler's power over Nazi Germany. She shot the 1933 Nuremberg Party rally and romanticized it. You've seen it if you don't even realize, because if you ever see Indiana Jones with all the Nazis marching and the searchlights in the sky and all, that's Leni Riefenstahl. At her death a few years ago, at the age of 102, she was represented by a major Hollywood agency founded by a Jewish man. I have no idea how that's possible.
And they have a picture of her in a Wehrmacht uniform standing by while Jews are being executed.
In Poland, yeah.
And Hollywood embraced her. How does that happen? Because in a supernatural way, what the devil has done is he's corrupted many people. We have to love them, we have to pray for them, but they are errant and they are wrong. The church is the truth, and we know that, and we can use it. And when a movie like God's Not Dead, with no advertising at all, for $1 million goes out and does what it did, it does it for one reason and only one reason. It's the truth. And when you tell the truth, you will win. Look, we all know what happens. The Bible very specifically says, in the end, we win. We're in the Super Bowl. We just got to get through the fourth quarter.